All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of Roundabout Sports, presented by Filthy Games Room, located at 3479 Newtown Boulevard, and by Interstate 70 Sports Media, where our passion is our profession. This week it is Roundabout Sports, episode 108 with Babs and the Maestro. And of course, the lovely Babs is to my right side. Babs, how are you today?
I am fantastic. How are you guys today? Are you feeling better, Jeremy?
We are doing as best as we can, and the thing of it is, we are just getting through. We got a short tonight's going to be a shorter episode, but we definitely have to talk about a lot going on, mainly regarding this year's World Series. So it's ironic because the World Series I wanted was going to be the Mets and Guardians.
Yeah, me too. I'm very disappointed in
And the
in
Dodgers.
the World Series this year.
Yeah, this is not going to be fun. Um, and
I
it's
guess in
you know
retrospect, I hope that it's the Dodgers. If it has to be somebody, I hope it's the Dodgers, just for Tommy Edman, okay? Because I will definitely be okay with that. Because
yeah.
I mean, if we have to pick one evil empire, I would much rather pick the Dodgers rather than the Yankees.
Well, okay. Listen, this is interesting. Um, Edmund has definitely shined since becoming the everyday shortstop for the
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers. In the NLCS, he went 11 for 27. He got 11 RBIs, and of course, he won the NLCS MVP. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of Cardinal fans, it was a mixture
Yeah,
of being happy for him,
yeah, yeah.
and it
It's
was also them being a little bit um pissed off, to say the least.
well, yeah, because we gave up Edmund for Tommy Pham that's not even with the or the organization anymore, and we also have what the pitcher from the White Sox. I can
Eric
never
Judge,
remember his name. Yeah, and
yeah,
and it just seems like we got ripped off a little. Okay, a lot.
I was gonna say
So,
we you got ripped off a lot, and the thing of it is though, the Cardinals have nobody to blame but themselves. The
oh
front
yeah,
office is the
for
one that made
sure.
that decision, and they're the ones that took the initiative of that. Now, you know, this is the thing. You know, the Dodgers to me do have the edge when it comes to the shortstop position, but it is close. Now, um, you take a look at there's a lot of star power on these rosters. Let me just put it this way. Look, it's not like these are two, crappy teams that have no business being in the World Series. Look, these are powerhouses.
Right.
Okay. And we're not just saying that because it is the Yankees and the Dodgers. I mean, these teams, have a lot of power to them. So, I mean, look at it this way. Look at the first baseman. Freddie Freeman's the first baseman of the Dodgers. And you're like, okay, Freddie Freeman. You go to the Yankees, it's freaking Anthony Rizzo,
Right.
you know?
And I was
And
just thinking that Aaron Judge is going to see his first World Series, isn't he?
yes, this is going to be Aaron Judge's first World Series. Now, this is the thing. Um, you know, Aaron Judge has not been that great in the postseason, but he has been decent enough. And they had such a good lineup around them, you know, that Aaron Judge is a freaking generational player.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
for sure.
you say that about
Yeah.
Mike Trout, and it's true. And I feel bad because I feel like Mike Trout's never going to be in a World Series. But Aaron Judge is also a generational player. And he is definitely one of the best at what he does in baseball. I look
Well,
at it.
unfortunately, Mike Trout's been plagued with a lot of injuries lately too, and that's kind of put him back on the burner a little bit too. So, It's kind of both on the Angels and himself, I guess, a little. But yeah, I totally understand, though.
Right. Now, you go to the right fielders, you have for the Dodgers, you got Mookie Betts.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, another star player. And then this is the one that blows my mind. And this is a guy that a lot of people feel the Cardinals could have gotten. And once again, they did not get Juan Soto.
Oh yeah, don't want to give up Carlson for Juan Soto, really?
Yeah, like we could have really it just drives me. Now, this is the thing. You know, to me, in a one-on-one battle, when you're lining these two up together, I'd go Juan Soto over Mookie Betts. Juan Soto is dangerous as they come when it comes to being just a pain in the ass for pitchers. He fights through
Mm-hmm.
the count like anything, and he will make these pitchers wear themselves down. He is not an easy out. He's not an easy guy to get out. Now, one thing that Mookie Betts has in his favor is the fact that he is interesting because he's the guy right after Ohtani in the lineup. So a lot of times, of course, you're going to pitch around the MVP. You're going to pitch around Ohtani, get him on base, and then Mookie Betts can still make you pay. So, we're 2 days away from the game one of the World Series, so we don't know the opening lineups just yet.
Well, my
But
theory is they're gonna put Kershaw out there for game one, and they are just
well, they
for
announced the pitching matchups for the World Series. They just haven't announced the official lineup. So,
who's
if I
pitching.
I believe that actually game one is going to be Garrett Cole versus Jack Flaherty.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so that's
I
game
totally
one.
forgot that Jack Flaherty is a Dodger too. I don't know why I keep oversighting that.
And then game two would be Carlos Rodon versus Sean Manaea. Game three, Clark Schmidt versus Walker Buehler. Those are the as of now the listed World Series matchups. Now I think all is said that it will be Cole and Flaherty, which is definitely something. Like once again,
Oh yeah, for sure.
another. Oh, and once again, Poolside Pat. Oh my gosh, big shout out to Poolside Pat, who just a fantastic podcast that he's a part of, and I'm a pleasure to be on. And of course, good old Jimmy Harrison, folks.
Hi, Jimmy.
Be sure to check out Roundabout Sports on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, all those places that you have the chance to get yourself some interesting streaming platforms. But I know that Poolside Pat's part of the Primetime Productions, and he does such a fantastic job over there. So God bless him. And be sure to follow I-70 Sports Media on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Roundabout Sports is on Facebook as well. And once again, folks, this is going to be an abbreviated show tonight, but that is a-okay. And we're here talking about the World Series that the Dodgers and the Yankees. Now, right now, as far as according to FanDuel, it seems to be that the Dodgers are the favorites to win the World Series at plus 122, which
And
is
we can
saying
only hope.
something. And And you know what? I would like that for Tommy Edman. That's the thing. I would like Tommy Edman to have that World Series ring
Well, even
that I wish he
Flaherty,
could
I
have
guess, for
had.
that matter. Well, thank you.
Yeah, Flaherty's would be nice as well. Flaherty's would definitely be nice.
It's definitely
To
been a good
have.
few last days, Jimmy.
Yes, you've definitely had a great few days, and I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So one thing I wanted to bring up also. Oh, all right, Pat's got a question for you. Is Babs a Cardinals fan?
Okay,
All
well,
right.
here, I'll just show you. Yes, I am definitely a Cardinals fan because I've definitely got my Cardinals tattoos for sure. So,
I
yes,
was gonna
definitely.
say, yeah, Babs
Very
is a
big.
big Cardinals fan, and Jimmy says he's got to get back to class, but have a great day. Thank you, Jimmy. And yeah, he goes, "Let's go." So
Right,
perfect.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh yes,
huge
I was considered once the self, I guess, claimed biggest Carlos Martinez fan, I guess, so to speak, for the longest time.
Now, Pat, this is true. Pat has when I was on his show, with Big Red, Pat has Cardinals tattoos as well. So I mean, your guys'
Yeah,
is
you'll
kind of
have
on
to
the
show
same.
them to me sometime. I
Yes, it
missed the
is
show. I'm sorry, I missed it.
very impressive, and I'm going to tell you, it was such a great time. Um, Now I wanted to also talk about, you know, the ratings that for coming in, because for the for the ALCS between the Guardians and the Yankees, we had it wasn't the audience is the networks. Let's put it this way. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's not so black and white anymore as far as where you can watch these games. I mean, look, they put the freaking NLCS and stuff on FS1 over certain things on Fox. I will say that TNT Sports did have some very good ratings, averaging about 4.5 million throughout the 5 games. Now, 2 of those games did go up against Thursday or go up against NFL games. So, game one went up against Monday Night Football, and game three went up against Thursday Night Football.
Well, I guess my only question is, does Kansas City play while the World Series is going on? Because I could only see that game being the only reason why they have rating issues.
Well, let's see. Friday, they're not playing. I mean, we take a look at what the World Series schedule is. Um, and of course, they only have 4 games. The rest would be if necessary. But right now, game one's Friday, game two is Saturday, game three is Monday, and game four is Tuesday. None of those days are a day when the Chiefs play football. If game five is necessary, it would be on Wednesday, October 30th. If game six is necessary, Friday, November 1st. And if game seven is necessary, which it very well could be, Saturday, November 2nd. So, I mean, we are all over the place as far as what days we got when it comes to the broadcasting. But looking back and forth, look, you're gonna see memes like crazy on the internet about who wants this World Series matchup.
Right.
And a lot of people are gonna act like they're tuned off by it. We know people are gonna watch though. Like if you're
I
gonna tell me
guess.
no, because this is the thing. If you're gonna tell me more people are gonna watch the Rangers Diamondbacks World Series over the Yankees and the Dodgers, no. Look, the Yankees and the Dodgers are 2 of those teams we love to hate. So people are going to tune in to see which team loses, and then the people in those markets are going to tune in to see their team win. Um, Now This is the first time, I believe, since 1981 that the Dodgers and the Yankees met in the World Series.
Everyone could not watch for spite.
Right.
Because I honestly think that's what's happening in the middle of the country. I think it's just spite because it's only California fans that are Dodgers fans, really, and New York fans that are Yankees fans. So it makes sense. It's really a
Yeah,
spite vote.
exactly.
Yeah,
Um, so we'll take what we can get at this point.
right.
So, I mentioned how in 1981 was the last time that both teams faced off in the World Series. And in that World Series, the late great Fernando Valenzuela, who passed away yesterday at the age of 63, um, he was at the cornerstone of what was considered Fernando mania. And, you know, excuse me, what people need to understand is at some point, I mean, he won the World Series, the Cy Young, and the Rookie of the Year in 1989. And Commissioner Rob Manfred has stated that Valenzuela will be honored during the series in Game 1 at Dodger Stadium. Um, Now, he pitched in baseball for 17 seasons, and he served as a Spanish broadcaster for the Dodgers starting in 03. Now, unfortunately, this past month or so, he had been dealing with some severe health issues related to liver cancer, and he had succumbed to that just a day or so ago. But I think what's famous about him is that whole thing where in 1981, after he started his very first game on opening day, as manager Tommy Lasorda gave him a chance. He proceeded to start the season 8-0, 5 shutouts, and a 0.50 ERA. And I mean, he finished the season with a 13-7 record, 2.48 ERA, 11 complete games, and 8 shutouts. He was the first player to win Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Award in the same season. It was the first of 6 straight All-Star appearances for the lefty, and of course, I got a southpaw bias, so I always liked him. And he had finished in the top 5 in Cy Young voting 3 other times in his career. But he did win a World Series title with the Dodgers in 81 and 88. And he was also a very effective hitter as he won 2 Silver Slugger awards as well in the 80s. But he is among the franchise leaders in wins, strikeouts, innings pitched, starts, complete games, and shutouts. And I will say, Fernando Mania, a lot of people are really feeling it right now. He also finished his career with the St. Louis Cardinals after pitching for the Angels, Orioles, Phillies, and Padres. But he is survived by his wife and 2 daughters and 7 grandchildren. And last year, his number was officially retired by the Los Angeles Dodgers after not being reissued since he had left the team. Fernando Valenzuela he's a member of the Dodgers Hall of Fame, the Mexican Baseball Hall of Fame. Definitely one of the most famous personalities in sports, and he will most definitely be missed. And like I said, they're gonna do a special tribute to him game 1 this Friday because his death comes just 2 days after the Dodgers win the pennant.
Yeah, my friend Polito, he lives in Southern California, And he actually carries his baseball card in his wallet to this day. And he was the reason why he became a baseball player whenever he was a kid. He said that I talked to him about it a little bit this morning because I remember that he used to carry his baseball card, or that he did. And I was like, "How are you feeling today?" And he was like, "I feel like I'm missing a part of me today," because he feels like it's a part of his childhood that's gone now. And he's I didn't really know who he was because that was kind of before my time with baseball, but I do know that he was very, very loved by a lot of people. Very much so.
Yeah, like I said, I get a kick out of how, everybody rallies with the notion of Fernando Mania. And I remember he threw out the first pitch at one of the World Series games back in 2017. And Vince Scully comes out and introduces him. And his first career no hitter was against the St. Louis Cardinals,
Makes
as
sense.
well, which was a 6-0 victory. And I wish I could remember the exact date of that no hitter, but they've been replaying it like crazy across numerous highlight reels.
Yeah.
So, and the interesting thing is, I feel like this could also be extra motivation for the Dodgers, wanting to win for one of their own, because it's not just losing a former player; it is losing a family member,
Right.
and he was involved with the organization up until the day, practically the months he had passed. So I mean, that's a 21-year career in broadcasting for the Dodgers. It's a pretty impressive pedigree there. Add in the long career he had with the team as a player. I mean, that's impressive, you
Yeah, it
know.
really is.
Um, so shifting gears now back to kind of our World Series preview. You know, we look at how each of these teams can win. Now, we could easily say the simplest way is to just outscore the other. Well, I look at it like this. When we talked about the lineups, you take Giancarlo Stanton, Juan Soto, and Aaron Judge. Now, this postseason, 10 of New York's 13 home runs and 25 of their 38 runs have been driven in by those three players. Now, in one way, that's a good thing because, okay, your three top guys are producing. The problem is it's not a three-man baseball lineup.
Right.
And if the rest of your lineup isn't producing, you can't just rely on those three guys.
Right.
I liken it to the World Series in '04, and God, I hate these trauma memories, but Pujols, Edmonds, and Roland didn't do a damn thing against the Red Sox in '04. I think in total, the three of them combined maybe had 2 or 3 hits in that whole series. And the only one in that lineup that really shined in that series was Larry Walker.
I
Um,
remember that. Yeah.
and
Larry Walker.
everybody else though struggled badly. Um, so if you really want to step up, if the Yankees want to win the series, the whole lineup's going to have to produce for them. They're not going to. They cannot depend on just these three guys to be the reason that they win. I think I'm not going to act like the Royals or Guardians were any easy competition because both teams were phenomenal this season.
Right.
But I do think that you know, they're not the Los Angeles Dodgers. So
Right.
now, as far as the Dodgers go, they have the most balanced lineup. Um, but and they have the most balanced lineup, and I think theirs are what's going to outproduce the Yankees. But I think there's more question marks in their rotation and in their bullpen. So whereas I feel the Yankees have the pitching edge, the Dodgers have the hitting edge. So the Dodgers are going to have to really step up, and I think Walker Buehler has to especially step up. Get him a dominant start here or there, maybe definitely one, maybe two. And I want to give Dave Roberts a lot of credit. To put Jack Flaherty in game 1 of the World Series, that is a lot of faith in him.
Yes,
This
it
isn't
is. And that's
this is
awesome.
it's not knocking Jack Flaherty. This is not me saying anything bad about him. I think, though, for such a new player to the team to be able to say, look, this is our first World Series in about 4 or so years. And for us, we are putting you. Game one is the most important. You have to set the tone. You are the guy. Like you said yourself, you would have assumed that Kershaw would have been that guy,
Hmm.
because he's the future Hall of Famer. He's the notable one. They're rolling with Jack Flaherty. And, we take a look at how Flaherty has done this season overall. He's 13-7, a 3.17 ERA. Out 190 and 162 innings. Um, and with the Dodgers, he went 6-2. So I mean, it kind of makes sense though as to why Dave Roberts gives him all that faith. Like
Yeah,
I
but
say to myself,
it's a whole different monster whenever it's the big one.
and this is Jack Flaherty's first trip to the
Yes,
big.
it
It's
is.
time. So I have to ask you now. I know what you want, but I'm going to ask you what you think before we wrap it up this evening. Who do you have winning the World Series? How many games? And who is your MVP?
Well, I'm hoping that it's the Dodgers, but it probably will be the Yankees, and it'll probably be Judge, and I'm staying in probably 6 games.
Okay. Well,
You hear to
I
hear first, guys.
you heard it here first. Babs has the Yankees in 6. And Judge will be the MVP in her opinion. I have the Dodgers in 6. And you know what? I am going so bold. This is not even. Who do I think is going to be the MVP of this? I could easily just go for the safe pick and say Otani, but what's the fun in that? Edmund has already won the NLCS MVP, but he could easily win
I can
the
see
World Series
Freeman.
MVP. I'm going to go Freddie Freeman. I'm going to go Freddie Freeman. So Dodgers in 6, Freeman wins MVP. I think he's also had a phenomenal season, a great postseason. It's just been overlooked by the great performances of the team around him. And if that's saying something, then that's really saying something.
Right.
I do think that we are going to have a really good World Series. I really think it's not going to be just a lopsided series. And I know people are worried about that. I don't think it will be. They've talked about what World Series have been the best over the past, 25 years. Okay, so obviously I'm going to take the Cardinals bias out of these because let's not act like the 2006 World Series was a fantastic one from a
Right.
intense standpoint. Well, I mean, I got the 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks versus Yankees World Series is always a classic. Um, you have your 2011 Cardinals and Rangers. You got the Cubs and the then Cleveland Indians.
Mm-hmm.
That World Series, oh my God, that was crazy. Rajay Davis hitting that home run in the bottom of the 8th. I freaking screamed downstairs out of excitement for that. And you know what? And I believe it was 2017 or 2018, but the first Astros Dodgers World Series. I think that was when the Astros won their first World Series. Now, look, say what you want about the cheating and everything. Look, that was still a damn good World Series. That was
Yeah,
a
it really
wild.
was. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, especially if my team is not in it, and in this case, of course, it's the Cardinals. If they're not in it, I at least want to be able to enjoy the series. I want
Right.
to be able to enjoy
Exactly.
it and not being in it. So, um, so yeah. So, folks, before we wrap it up, our final notes. Babs has the Yankees in 6 with Aaron Judge as your MVP. I have the Dodgers in 6 with Freddie Freeman as your MVP. And the winner gets, I don't know, gets nothing because we don't have anything to give these days. It's a tough economy. Um, but we are going to wrap it up this evening. For those that are wondering why it is an abbreviated episode, Babs has a lot of great things going on in her life, and she's been busy planning a lot of great things. And I'm just getting over being under the weather.
Well, here,
And
I'll go ahead and announce the big thing since it's being
okay,
talked
you
about.
announced the big
Yeah,
thing for you.
I'll announce the big thing that's going on with me. I am engaged and I am getting married next year in April. So that is the big news. And that is what I've been planning these last few weeks. And it is awesome. And I can't wait to share everything with you guys.
So fantastic, and I'm extremely happy for you and your fiance. And
Thank you.
I want to say, folks, it was funny when she messaged me saying that she was engaged out of
I,
nowhere, and I'm like, wait.
I could hear Jeremy like fall to the floor.
I was like, wait, what? And then
Yeah.
she told me how long they've known each other and all the wonderful story. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm excited for you, Babs, and I know, as more things happen, as it gets closer to the big day, I know you'll share what you want to share.
Yeah, and
Um,
it'll be great to like give you guys updates and stuff. So I will definitely do that and keep you guys updated.
Awesome. Now, folks, we're going to wrap it up here on Roundabout Sports this week. I want to thank you all for being here for even this abbreviated episode. As always, we put up the NAMI helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI. That is 1-800-950-NAMI. The National Alliance of Mental Illness is the nation's largest grassroots mental health nonprofit organization dedicated to building better lives for those that struggle, whether it's them personally or their families. And of course, we always put up at the end of our show the suicide and crisis lifeline. And for that, you dial 988. The line is open 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Understand you're never alone in this world. There is always somebody out there who loves you, who cares about you, who want you to be able to thrive in this world. We all go through struggles on a daily basis, but that does not mean that these struggles have to be endured alone. You are just a phone call or a text message away. And you could also be the listening ears and watchful eye for somebody out there who is in need of help as well. Once again, that line is 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. As always, I want to thank the amazing Babs for joining me this evening. And I know you can see on our social pages now the new logo that she had designed for our show. And this is episode 108, so it's at a perfect time. We got a lot of great guests in store for the future. And we'll keep you posted on our social pages about that. But be sure to subscribe on all of our socials and anywhere you can find a podcast. But until next week, folks, I'm the maestro. She's Babs. And remember, life is a book full of empty pages just waiting to be written in. Make your lives worth reading. Good night, everybody.